Hi everyone, welcome back to Labyrinth Academy. I'm Madhuri and I'm your physics tutor. Before we begin today's session on magnetic forces checkpoint frictions, I strongly recommend that you watch my previous lessons 61 magnetic field, 62 electric motor and 63 magnetic forces because the ideas from those lessons will help you answer today's questions. If you already watched it, perfect. Let's get started. How much force would be experienced by 12 centimeter wire carrying 0.8 amperes perpendicular to Earth magnetic field of 5.0 into 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla? Part 8 is about the wire in Earth magnetic field. When current flows in a magnetic field, the wire experiences a force. The general formula is F equals BIL sine theta. Because the wire is perpendicular, sine theta equals 1. So it simplifies to F equals BIL. Now, substitute the values. B equals 5.0 into 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla. I equals 0.8 amperes. L equals 0.12 meters. That gives F equals 5.0 into 10 to the power minus 5 times 0.8 times 0.12 equals 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 6 newtons. That is a very small force, only a few millions of a newton. It shows how weak the Earth's magnetic field is compared with laboratory magnets. How much force would be experienced by a proton traveling across Earth's magnetic field at 500 meters per second? Part B looks at a single proton moving across Earth's magnetic field. The formula is F equals BQV sine theta. The proton is moving across the field, so sine theta equals 1 and it reduced to F equals BQV. Now substitute. B equals 5.0 into 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla. Q equals 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulombs. V equals 500 meters per second. That gives F equals 5.0 into 10 to the power minus 5 times 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 times 500 equals 4.0 into 10 to the power minus 21 newtons. This is an extremely tiny force, much smaller than for the wire, because it acts on only one particle. How fast would a proton need to travel in order for the magnetic force on it to make it orbit the Earth at the surface? Radius of Earth equals 6.4 into 10 to the power 6 meters. Comment on your answer. Part C asks if Earth's magnetic field would make a proton orbit the Earth's surface. For circular motion, the magnetic force provides a centripetal force, so BQV equals mv squared over r. Rearranging gives V equals BQR over m. Now substitute. B equals 5.0 into 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla. Q equals 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulombs. R equals 6.4 into 10 to the power 6 meters. M equals 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 27 kilograms. That gives V equals 5.0 into 10 to the power minus 5 times 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 times 6.4 into 10 to the power 6 over 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 27 in approximately 3.1 into 10 to the power 10 meters per second. But the speed of light is only 3.0 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second. This answer is about 100 times greater, which is physically impossible because nothing with mass can move faster than light. This shows us an important truth. The Earth's magnetic field is far too weak to control large-scale orbits. Real orbits, like the moon around Earth or Earth around the sun, are determined by gravity, not by magnetism. Magnetic fields can bend the paths of charged particles, but they cannot replace gravity in making planets or particles orbits in a planet. So, that completes checkpoint question 1. The key A2 exam skills are identify the correct formula, check if the motion is perpendicular, substitute with units, calculate carefully, and finish with a clear conclusion. In part C, the conclusion was essential. We must explain why the answer is impossible. An electron beam travels across a 36 millitesla magnetic field at 45 degrees to the field. If the electrons are traveling at 10% of the speed of light, what force does the field exert on each electron? Hard to ask for the magnetic force on one electron. For a moving charge, the magnetic force is F equals BQV sine theta. Here, the field is 36 millitesla, so B equals 0.036 Tesla. The electrons move at 10% of light speed, so V equals 3.0 into 10 to the power 7 meters per second. And the beam meets a field at 45 degrees, so sine theta equals 0.7071. Using Q equals 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulombs. For the electron charge, we substitute F equals 0.036 times 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 times 3.0 into 10 to the power 7 times 0.7071. Doing the multiplication gives above 1.22 into 10 to the power minus 13 newtons on each electron. This is a very small force on one electron, but because an electron beam contains many electrons, the net effect on the beam can be noticeable. Speed equals distance over time and current equals charge over time. Explain how F equals BIL is actually the same equation F equals BQV but considered for many charges in a group. Part 3 is not a calculation but a demonstration of how the two force equations are really the same thing. We start with a single charge law F equals BQV. This tells us the force on one moving charge. Now, think of a wire. Inside it are many charges moving together. If we take a piece of wire of length L, the charges inside it will take time t equals L over V to pass through. Current is charge per second, so I equals charge over time. That means the total charge in that length is Q equals I times T equals I times L over V. Now, the total force on all those charges is the single charge force multiplied by the number of charges, but the neat way to write it is total force equals B times QV. Substituting Q equals IL over V. We get F equals B times IL over V times V equals BIL. So, F equals BIL is just the combined effect of all the individual forces. F equals BQV on the many charges moving in the wire. Remember, F equals BQV is the microscopic law for one charge and F equals BIL is the macroscopic version for the full current in the wire. They are the same idea written at different scales. For the investigation and solved in the work example, calculate the difference in the radius of curvature that would be found if the company investigated the two isotopes of sodium. Sodium plus 23 and sodium plus 22. Explain why such small differences can be easily detected by a machine like mass spectrometer. Part 4 is about sodium isotopes in the mass spectrometer. The key formula is R equals 1 over B into square root 2mv over q. For a given accelerating voltage V, field strength B, and ion charge Q, the radius depends only on the square root of the ion mass. That means the radius for sodium plus 22 compared to sodium plus 23 is given by the ratio square root 22 over 23. The fractional difference is 1 subtract square root 22 over 23. Calculating this gives about 0.0220 or 2.2% difference. To put this into context, if the radius for sodium plus 23 were about 0.013 meters, the difference in radius between the two isotopes would be about 0.0003 meters. That's 0.3 millimeters. Now, why does that matter? In a spectrometer, the ions only hit the detector if their path radius matches geometry exactly. If the radius is slightly different, even by a fraction of a millimeter, the ion beam missed the detector completely. That's why the instrument can separate and detect isotopes with tiny mass differences. So, the important takeaway is R is directly proportional to square root of m explains why different isotopes have different paths. The difference may look very small, but the spectrometer's precision makes it easily detectable. That's why mass spectrometers are powerful tools for distinguishing isotopes like sodium plus 22 and sodium plus 23. To finish this session, let's draw the key ideas together. We have two equations. F equals BIL for wires and F equals BQV for single charges. These are not different laws. F equals BIL is simply the combined effect of many individual charges, so it's the macroscopic version of the same principle. When charges move in circuit, under the magnetic field, the magnetic force acts as a centripetal force giving BQV equals mv speed over r. That's the basis of devices like the cyclotron and the mass spectrometer. The examples we work shown that the Earth's magnetic field is very weak, too weak even to hold a single proton in orbit. Real orbits like those of planets and satellites are controlled by gravity, not magnetism. Finally, in the mass spectrometer, R is directly proportional to square root M means isotopes follow slightly different paths. Even the difference of a fraction of a millimeter is easily detected. Allowing isotopes such as sodium plus 22 and sodium plus 23 to be separated clearly. So, the essence is simple. Magnetic forces bend moving charges, weakly in Earth field, strongly in lab fields, and the same physics connects wires, particles, circular motion, and isotopes detection. That's all for today's session. In the next video, we'll move on to generating electricity. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the and check out other documentaries. See you next time.